Previously on Elysia Rising.
Dear friends, there is a warehouse in Dustry Hill. I urgently require an item from my inventory within the warehouse. Returning it to my stronghold would be greatly appreciated.
I thought I might tempt you from the office stool once again, Fairfax.
Oh yes, it's always a pleasure. What can I do for you, sir?
I pass him a little piece of paper with the address of this warehouse.
Amringer. Yes, that warehouse, Amringer and Daughters. And in the road leading up to the warehouse, the both of you recognise these individuals. They are wearing the tabard of the Shield of Elysia. Cavern and Atta, you see a group of charging guard tearing up the hill behind you.
Oh no.
Get down! Down on the ground! Don't move! Don't move! And Magpie, you're up on the roof, and you know that whatever time you did have is now significantly reduced.
I get on with it. I'm in a flash.
Welcome to Elysia, the jewel of the north. On our gilded streets, fortune and fame can be found by anyone.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Magpie, an ace of our lurk.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Cavern, a dragon-scent slide.
Hi, I'm Meg. I'm playing Frida, a wolfkin cutter.
Hi, I'm JC, and I'll be playing Algernon, an ace of our spider.
Hello, I'm Errol. I am playing Atta, a goblin whisperer.
And my name is DM Dan. I will be the games master on this adventure.
So come on in and marvel at our wonders. Make sure you see the beautiful views we have to offer, and don't mind the ghosts. They're friendly, really. Grab yourselves a seat and make yourselves welcome in the city of Elysia.
Hello, and welcome back to Explorers of Elsewhere's Elysia Rising. I am DM Dan. These are my beautiful crew, and we find them at the start of a very easy job that has suddenly become significantly more difficult.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, thanks, Musto.
So, let us jump straight into it. We find Magpie about to kind of breach, sneak into the warehouse that this kind of magical artifact that Musto has requested you retrieve is stored. In the streets below, Cavern and Atta, you currently find yourself sandwiched between shield bearers of the Shield of Elysia in front of you, and some city watch tearing up the hill behind you. Given that you are right in the face of it, Atta, Cavern, what are you doing? You are in a desperate position.
Do you have ideas, Cavern? Because the only ideas that I have two. One is flashback to like a hodgepodge item that Atta made that was made to look vaguely magical, and they just kind of huck it at the one in front and like point. Or some kind of explosive. That's a less that's a less refined idea.
Just explode them all.
Some kind of explosive.
I think like an explosive sort of like that, maybe something that Atta had rigged like earlier and was prepared to use it like later if things got a bit hairy on the escape, but considering that it's just kicked off right now, probably has decided to go like, well, better time than any, and actually set it off like somewhere not too far away to maybe distract them. As
a wee aside, given that you find yourself in such a tricky situation, Cavern, you do turn your mind to your innate eminent divinity.
Oh yeah.
Which, as we all know, you may
As
expend
any
your
fool
special
knows.
armor to automatically pass a roll, but you accrue an additional 2 heat. So as you channel your draconic essence, you're able to you'll be able to fundamentally, divinely brute force your way through this. But everyone will know about the dragon scent that went supernova. So just putting that on the table as well.
Yeah.
What was your thought, Errol?
Well, I was thinking if, like, it's obviously a little bit much to have, like, actually constructed something that can do something, like, even rudimentarily arcane and have it kind of be remotely set off somewhere nearby to distract. But you could probably, like, rig something that belches a load of purple smoke, the kind of purple that the bubble is, and kind of use somebody's charming talkie powers to convince the people that the purple smoke is... The bubble is failing.
Yes.
Let's just spread panic.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's fun.
Yeah,
Are you into it?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Handshake.
Okay.
That was our
So-
flashback.
There we
Okay.
go.
So we are flashing back to Atta creating what is effectively a timed smoke bomb.
Yeah, a timed smoke bomb or like something that can be remotely activated.
Sure. What you choose, timed or remote?
I would say remote because we're not. This is a surprise that
Okay.
because we
Okay.
don't know.
Cool. In which case, and it's designed that there's enough like poof behind it that it will cause enough of a distraction for you to make a getaway. That was the intention of it. But I think in the time that you have, that would be quite stressful. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to go hard on this because everything's so hard, like so desperate right now. I'm going to say 2 stress for this.
Oh,
And then roll me a
okay.
tinker.
Okay. What's the risky standard or desperate?
So it'll be a.
It would be a
it'll be a control. So because this is back in time.
Oh.
So a controlled standard.
Okay. How much stress is it to push yourself? It's 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pardon
So,
me.
yeah, you already had to go ham, just kind of getting everything together as quickly as you can. And perhaps some of your stress is thinking, this isn't your best work, but it doesn't need to be pretty, just needs to work.
Okay. I won't push myself for an extra dice because I am getting quite close up there with the stress, but I kind of feel like that's a mistake. I'll just roll
Okay.
and not look.
A 4. Okay. What does your little remote? What does your remote destination thing look like?
I feel like, this is because I've been watching silly ghost stuff recently. You know, the people that keep the thing in the toe of their boot. I feel like it's in the toe of a boot.
Okay.
Because they didn't want to like. So it's, you know, a sort of a bit of a weird dance wiggle in, like, and then presses it.
Okay. So you trigger it, and like you look at Cavern and you kind of give him that eyes, the look to say, I'm doing it. I'm pressing the button. And as you press down on the button with your toe, with your big toe in your boot, you feel the click under your toe. And there's a rather loud bang from one of the buildings off to the left, and like a window pops from the pressure, and like purple smoke billows out into the charging guard. And like it throws them like you hear cries of confusion, like coughing and spluttering, and the shield bearer in front, like, and you know that it was kind of designed to kind of fill the whole area. But as you look at the shield bearer and sort of like smile, you realise that the gas was the smoke's perhaps a bit too heavy, and instead of expanding outwards, it starts just kind of rolling back down the hill over the guard. So they're coughing and spluttering, and the shield bearer in front of you is shocked, looks a bit distracted, but she's not completely like off your tail. So it's a reduced effect. It's effectively distracted the guard, but not the shield bearers, not the shield of Elysia. In this moment, Kavrin, what do you do?
I think Kavrin is. Yeah, I think Kavrin is going to go with the plan, and sort of go like, oh my god, the veil, it's failing.
That sounds
So
okay.
good.
Roll, hit me with a sway.
Yeah.
This will be a desperate standard. So I will say that the bang might have shaken this poor woman's resolve a little bit. So desperate standard.
Yes.
Oi!
Okay.
Sick!
You'd love to see it.
Okay. In which case, like the woman, like the shield bearer in front of you, the one that clocked you earlier, like she looks shocked enough, and like you see her sort of like begin to hesitate and panic, long enough, like she's distracted enough that you're able to sort of like creep around her, and then like make a break for it wherever it is you want to make a break. Where is it that you're heading to? So actually, to paint the picture, effectively you're at the end of a long street with these kind of warehouse buildings all the way down. You can like behind you, there's the purple smoke wafting down Dustry Hill, and there's the sounds of like coughing and spluttering City Watch within that kind of gas cloud. You know it's not going to contain them for long, but for now, they're kind of relatively incapacitated. You can see that the second warehouse along is the one that Magpie's about to breach into, and that there's a couple of very confused looking shield of Elysia, like shield bearers, stood out the front of this like warehouse. They've wondered what this bang was. They're wondering what the shouting and commotion is. But yeah, they are kind of guarding the front door still.
Oh, boy.
Kavrin, do we leave Magpie to it, or do we try and stick around and help? What's the vibes?
I think it may be probably best that we try and distract the guards as much as possible, so that Magpie can get a good enough amount of time in there to find it, because obviously she doesn't know where it is.
Buy me time.
Okay,
So unless you wanna sneak in there and try and help, and Kavrin stick outside. Just waves his arms about and tries to pushes the smoke a little bit more into people's faces.
Faces with the arms
Yeah.
above the shield.
Magpie, how's your tinker?
I'm a tinker. It's
How's your
okay.
tinker?
It's
Okay, if it's
alright. It's one.
okay.
I got one in tinker.
I'm not very sneaky, so I can try and get in and help you with tinker if we think that things are locked. I'm
Right.
not. The only thing I can do to help distract is
Yeah.
I've got a bit of wreck.
Yeah. You know, I reckon with the combined powers of my own and JC's flashbacks, I can probably do the warehouse bit if you can buy me some time.
Sure. Okay. Well, tell you what. We flash back to you, Magpie. You are able to, like, in the commotion, you've been able to unlock this relatively standard lock window on the second floor of this warehouse.
Okay.
And as you move inside, you know, and the commotion outside kind of dulls down a little. You find yourself kind of in a. It's effectively like it almost looks like an attic, like a standard house attic, you know, the second floor of this warehouse. But it's also full of boxes covered in drapes and so on and so forth. A lot of the boxes have been kind of pried open. The kind of tarpaulins and drapes cast aside, it seems like it's kind of been ransacked a little bit by the Shield of Elysia. But it dawns on you that it's going to take some time to find the orb. So I present the Find the Orb clock.
Find the orb clock. So.
However, you also know that within a certain amount of time, the watch will kind of emerge, and you reckon it would be an amount of time before they enter into the warehouse.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did we not have some clue what size objects should be on which level of this warehouse?
So you know it's sort of like a 2-foot-ish sphere.
Yes.
Quite sizey.
Yes.
But that's the sort of thing that will be stored upstairs.
Okay,
like on the,
so
on
I'm
the floor
focusing my search upstairs.
Correct.
Okay. Sure.
So yeah, how are you?
How am I finding it? Let's have a look at my little skill set. I mean, survey sounds appropriate, but it's not my best skill. I mean, I feel as if survey is what it is. I'm beginning to search through. I'm throwing like dust covers off things, or like searching shelves or whatever it is to identify this big round object. Have I got old Tom's picture? Am I holding it up? Comparing it to things.
I mean, sure. I would suggest that because survey is a bit more big picture.
Sure.
It's
not
in a desperate
study, is it?
You're in a desperate position, but you're like you can do the survey, but that will have a limited effect.
Can I do finesse? Because I'm pirouetting around the place, trying to go as fast as possible.
I would say probably yes, but it would still be limited, and that would represent you kind of picking your way through the debris, and because this place looks like it's started, it's partly ransacked.
Yeah, exactly.
I might also offer rec. I would offer study.
I haven't got any pips in either of them, so I'd rather go finesse. Right. Would study or rec get me a better result?
You suspect... It seems like you're kind of looking for a needle in a haystack, so you reckon study would be your best shout, but rec would mean you just continue on the ransacking. Yes,
I can assist.
Yeah.
Using foresight.
Ooh, okay. And what does that look like?
So we flash back to the dark room in Codwaller Manor. You remember the ensuite bathroom, the bath in which the bathtub has been converted into a sort of chemical vat for developing of photographs. And we see emerging from a piece of photographic paper an image.
I think I might be able to help you here. The image is a higher resolution blueprint of the warehouse. On that blueprint, you notice that the upstairs dimensions don't match up quite right, suggesting that there is a hidden room of some sort.
OMG! So I'm going to go look for that hidden room.
Yeah. So with that, if you wanted to do for example, a study to try and sniff it out, or if you're happy to do
Can I study and push myself, please, to get an extra die on the roll?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I add 1d to my roll. What is this? Is this a risky
Get one from me.
Oh, and one from JC, is that?
Correct,
so plus 2.
Yeah.
That means I'll be rolling 2.
So
That's
at the moment
great.
you're desperate. So it's desperate, limited.
Limited. Even with the study, because you said that would be the best thing to do.
Sorry,
better
Ben,
than
you're
the
doing
ones I
study.
have.
Yes, sorry. Desperate standard. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And how many? Is it 2 stress I take for myself?
Correct. Yes.
Put that on. And roll it.
4.
Oh. It's crashing. 5.
Yeah, and foresight is for free, so a 5. Okay. That is, so you kind of gloss over a lot of the trashed boxes, because you know that what you're looking for are telltale signs on like the walls, on joins, and part of the masonry, like what around here looks like it's supporting something that it shouldn't be supporting. A partial success, I believe. Severe harm. Okay, so we're gonna say you get 2 pips on Find the Orb.
Okay.
And the watch begin to make their way out.
Okay.
Okay, we'll flick back to Catherine and Atta. How are you buying Magpie more time?
I mean, can we see ghosties up in the sky outside?
There are ghostly faces smushed against the veil over your heads.
Catherine's gonna go, Atta, I've seen you do this before. Can you make them go a bit doolally again?
Doolally, well, I suppose if I've brought something with me in my loadout that helps with that. Dan, I've been looking at some of the things that Whisper can take in their loadout, and some of it is like Blaze in the Dark, like vanilla flavor. Like, so there's the hook where you can like grapple a spirit, but I don't know if there's reflavored Elysia stuff that could potentially be Whisper related, Ghostbuster style.
Yeah. If there wasn't, I'm sure, reading the description, a long 2-handed pole with a loop of heavy wire at the end connected to, let's say, a lightning capacitor, suitable for grappling a spirit and dragging it into a spirit bottle, it collapses into a compact form. I reckon that's something that Atta's probably just made herself.
Okay. Well, I put together this weird thing. I mean, I was gonna check with Algernon whether I should use it on a job before you, but I guess now's a good time to try.
Better now than never, I would say. I think if we
First and only option is the nuclear one.
I think if we just get them to believe that something is happening to the Veil, it may buy us a little bit more time.
Okay, I trust you. Okay.
I wouldn't do that, but go ahead.
Okay, so what's the plan with the lightning hook?
I think if there is a factory building that has like a reasonably easy access to get to the roof, even though it might take a little while to get to the roof, I think setting up there is probably going to be better.
I mean, are you looking to fish a
essentially, yeah. Like
in?
Yeah, and just kind of like try and, I guess, trebuchet. I don't think that's the correct use of a trebuchet, but yeah, trebuchet it towards
The
people that we don't like.
Okay. I will. Sure. So one of the like you're the two of you are kind of breaking down the street. Like you have this really quick conversation while there's kind of commotion. You see some of the shield bearers kind of looking at each other. They're starting to move around, like seeing what the commotion is, what that purple smoke is. Opposite, there is a warehouse with like an access ramp, like an access stairwell to the second floor and then up onto the roof. So yeah, if you want to go up there and fundamentally fish a spirit through the veil, you can.
Yeah. I mean, Atta really wants to do that.
Roll me a... Okay, because you have to get this right. So roll me a tinker, because you're using your doodad. Okay. It's going to be desperate.
Okay.
And it's going to be standard. Because it's a fine lightning hook. So the quality me bumps up to the standard.
Can I help in any way?
Do you wanna?
Please.
Yeah, I'll help.
How are you thinking of helping?
Just with pure go at it.
Cheerleading in the background.
No.
Okay. Sure. In which case, yeah, Cavern, you take 1 stress, and Atta, you may get an extra dice.
Okay.
So you're effectively looking at sort of like reeling a spirit in and then lobbing
Nice.
it at the shield bearers and the
Oh my
and the guard.
gosh.
Yeah. Let's do it. Come on.
Go
It's
for
a
it.
game.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's it.
Okay.
Grandma! It's Grandma.
Ever since you heard Algernon said the words, the veil is fading, from Tavarian's note, you've thought about this moment. And for the first time ever, as you kind of like swing this stick with a lightning infused mana crystal attached to the end, a beam of lightning arcs out and sort of like zigzags up towards the veil, like the inner surface of the veil, and you watch as the blue kind of light pierces through the field itself and snares around this screaming spirit. And as you like a comedy fisher, as you sort of like desperately tug and pull, like wheeling on the little handle to reduce the lightning lure length, you, Cavern, like you feel your blood start to chill as the scream of this spirit becomes audible as it's pulled through the veil into Elysia. And you realise, you wonder if this is the first time a spirit has moved through the veil since the veil was erected.
Oh.
And as this spirit kind of thrashes, and it looks at you for a moment, Atta, and sort of like gains its bearings, and as it starts like hurtling towards you, you manage to like swing it, and it flings down the street, and you see it hurtles down the street. The female Lorivar shield bearer that you were speaking to originally, Cavern, like she's still shocked and confused, and like she finally decides to take some affirmative action, turns around just in time to get face slammed by this spirit, and you watch as she's lifted up off the ground. She starts screaming and thrashing, like the sledgehammer drops to the floor with a clang, and you see the spirit begin lifting her up, and effectively its mouth begins to engorge and enlarge as it creates this like sucking motion, and you see her like her screams getting louder and then quieter as she like her limbs start to go a bit limp. Cool. Anything else?
Did you just do a murder?
Not yet.
We did. No, like we were a few like.
Did you just have a ghost
degrees
do a
away
murder
from-
for you? Now
Not
you've
yet.
unleashed a spirit.
She's still got some
Elysia.
stuff in there. Algernon, is there anything like from the barge? You look up and see this flash of blue light as this beam arcs up to the veil and starts like you swear for a moment you can see like a wriggling at the end of this like beam of lightning, but there's this kind of horrendous scream that emanates across the area. Is there anything you're doing in this moment?
I look up to the sky and I crack a wry smile because I know this is all part of the plan. I would like to flash back and suggest some ways in which Algernon has orchestrated this event
Oh boy.
by being deliberately overheard by whomever overhears him. He assumes it's one of his old colleagues from the intelligence corps.
Yeah.
So he would have spoken to some old boy that he knows is in their pocketbook, notoriously for playing both sides.
Sure. Also, you being overheard whilst you were doing your investigation, that was on purpose.
Yes.
Okay. Because obviously the best way to deal with the ghosts is if there's a lot of kind of guards and religious, like cleric
Also,
types.
I think we've been given this intelligence, which is that the veil is failing.
Uh-huh.
It would be useful if other people believed it.
Very good. Okay.
Now the shield of Elysia, their primary concern is the safety of the veil and keeping spirits away. So if we did a big display where there was a sort of ghost infraction involving those two factions, we might get some irons in the fire.
Okay. You know what? I enjoy that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply say, take one stress, because whilst it was all part of the plan, seeing this ghost emerge like in your living space is a bit unnerving, but I will return the position from desperate back to risky, because now the heat is off these three. It's more on the ghost.
And everything's going according to plan.
Everything's going according to plan. Okay. If we Magpie, you hear this like bellowing from outside, and you think, oh, this is the bit where Atta like pulls a ghost through the veil.
Already? They're already pulling ghosts? I haven't got any time. I've got to get on with it.
Sure. What do you do?
I mean, I guess I'm just going to carry on doing what I was doing.
Okay.
I can smell this secret room. I've got to find it.
Yep. Do you? I will offer you a devil's bargain.
Yes, please.
No matter what happens.
Yes.
One of the shield bearers enters into the warehouse for safety.
But they'll be downstairs. It's fine. I can prowl about. I'll take it. So,
okay.
In which case, I'm going to push myself again and take the devil's bargain. So I'm going to roll 2.
Also, heads up, anyone who's rolled a desperate roll, which I think has been quite a few of you, remember to mark your XP on your relevant XP trackers.
Excellent. Oh, I don't think I have rolled anything desperate. That's
you have.
Is it still risky standard? Or is it now?
It is now
worse?
risky standard, because you're still playing by Algernon's advice.
Right.
If you wanted to go desperate, I'll give you a greater outcome.
So desperate, great. I will take it.
Okay.
I will take it. Let's go. 4.
Ooh, okay. So, I'm gonna say we'll work on the reduced effect, so it drops it back to a standard 4, but that is still
that's enough to fill
fill the orb.
Okay.
Okay. You tick up your resolve. Sorry, insight. Tick up your insight XP track.
Oh, hooray.
So you find, like as you're scouring along, like you hear the footsteps, and like you hear a voice coming from through the floorboards. By the god, what? And the shield bearer beneath is visibly panicking, or audibly panicking, I should say. But you just kind of use that as like the stress to make a diamond to like get the result you want, and you find like the latch that you pull down, and a segment of a partition of the wall swings open into a small little area that is full of like dusty, like tomes, trinkets, like chests, loot boxes, lock boxes, sorry. And despite being covered by a drape, you notice a large spherical 2-foot-ish orb on a shelf on the far side of this small little kind of cubby room.
I'm going to check it's definitely the right thing, and then I'm going to take the whole thing, including the cover.
Sure. So as you lift it up, the orb itself is effectively clear. It's like a large glass orb with these kind of gold bands, and up close you can see that there are fine, tiny kind of runic symbols inscribed along these bands, and only like none of them are actually touching the orb. They just seem like they can move kind of in all various kind of directions. So it gets a bit awkward. So you kind
Awkward to actually hold.
grab the kind of the glass, because if you hold the orb, it starts just kind of rotating in your hands and whatnot. But yeah, you managed to grab the orb. You found that, and you're able to make your escape.
I am, yes.
Okay.
Off I go.
Cavern and Atta. You can hear the screams of this ghost mixing with the fading screams of the shield bearer. What are you two doing now?
Well, we got it down. What do we do now?
I don't know. I didn't think past this point.
Well, what I will say is, at this point, given all of the perfectly timed distraction, the two of you see Magpie kind of emerge from the window that she entered in from, with this large. Did you swaddle it in a?
It's in the sort of dust cover that was over
Sure.
it.
So you see her emerge, like carrying this massive orb. So perhaps you realise that it's now time to escape.
Make like a tree.
Yes. Let's get out of here.
Let's go.
Did you want to group action it, or did you want to do things separately? Are you splitting up? Are you moving as a pack?
I reckon Magpie's going to do what she does best, and she's going to prowl over the roofs. And you lot... I
Do
don't
what you
know.
want.
do whatever you feel is best.
Yeah, I think.
But we'll be going off in the same direction.
Yes.
Correct.
So I think, and if Atta agrees, I think both Atta and Catherine are just going to run off in the direction that they originally came from to look like they're just escaping. They're just getting away from what is happening.
So you're kind of carrying down
Brought
on
this
down.
ghost down.
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, are you trying to do it in such a way that you are avoiding attention, as opposed to like waving your hands above your head?
Yeah, I think
Drawing
if we do make a big scene, just kind of go like, oh my god, it's a ghost, like that. I think it's gonna look.
Oh no, finish.
I was gonna say it's gonna look more like we weren't involved.
Whatever we do, if we do it in the opposite direction that Magpie's going, then we again reduce the potential of her.
So, looking at the map, realistically, the opposite direction would be the direction of the ghost and the watch.
Yeah.
And the very angry Shield of Elysia. So you'd all have to be effectively heading south to get to the canal where the barge is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's head to the canal. Let's go off running and screaming.
Okay.
Excellent.
I never thought I'd say this for like a flea through the streets, but it seems like you're almost trying to influence the area around you, are you not? You're trying to draw attention to what is happening.
Yeah, I think if we can draw more attention to what's actually happening with the ghost and the guard and the shield,
Sure.
then
Yeah,
it will
look that way.
then hopefully it will mean then we can slip out sort of
Okay.
undetected, hopefully to remove some heat at the end of it.
Okay, well, just to jump in, Algernon, is there anything that you'd have thought of for this stage of the plan that
Not
is
currently.
perfectly happening right now?
We could, the guards who are drawn to our suspicious behaviour.
Uh-huh.
They encounter a woman pushing a pram, and then they rip the blanket off the pram, and it's just absolutely nothing inside.
Okay. So is this so is it actually the whole pram plan was a diversion that you leaked? And it was a red herring, and in fact Magpie's just gonna have to hoof it through the streets carrying this thing.
Yeah.
Over the roofs to the barge.
Okay.
Yes. I want to employ some of the squatters in the area
Yeah.
to several women to go around pushing prams, identical prams.
Oh, I love it. Decoy prams.
Okay. To get them on board, that sounds like a consort, and I think I'll ask for another 1 stress to kind of get them to be on board with it.
Is it risky standard? Am I
I'm
knocking
gonna
them
say
up
at
and
the time it's a risky standard. Yeah.
down? Nice.
Nice.
Oh,
We like it.
Finally, some good luck.
Okay.
Alden.
Okay. In which case, so we'll bear that in mind. We got success there. Cavern and Atta, I am going to ask for a group sway as you try to convince people to like look this way and like look, there's a ghost. Help!
Yeah.
Look over there, not here. Who's leading?
I will lead on this if you want.
Yeah, I don't. I've got. Well, I mean, I've got. No, you probably should, because if I get more than 4, I'm traumatized.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say risky standard.
Risky standard. Do I get any modifiers?
Only if you were to push yourself, or as a devil's bargain, a second patrol of like watch appear at the end of the street, forcing you to take a slightly more complex route through the alleyways.
I think I'm gonna just push myself.
Okay.
So that's one stress, yeah?
2 stress.
2 stress.
Atta, are
Is
you
that
pushing
7
yourself?
stress you're on?
so a group roll means that I
So you both roll,
the sway, yes, and
then if you fail, Cavern takes a stress.
takes
and then
the stress of the roll. Like if I rolled a 2, then he'd take 2 stress, or
Take 1 stress.
just 1 stress.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the highest roll between you is the one that you both get.
Okay.
Way.
What is
Okay.
it? It's just risky. It's just a risky standard.
standard,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 1. Okay. Cavern,
Mm-hmm.
you take an additional stress.
Oh, I'm gonna need to vice it up tonight.
But as you're running through the street, and Atta's going, "Oh no, oh no, there's a ghost!" And like she's looking backwards, I assume, at the ghost a bit too much, like with a bit too much curiosity. But Cavern, you just have.
I like to think that Catherine's like grabbed hold of the scruff of her neck and just kind of go, "We'll work on your acting skills later. Come on."
Flying behind
Like holding
you,
the
grabbing
lightning
the
rod,
lightning
like.
Okay. Cavern, you have to push yourself to like really sell what's happening, like you're to the point where you're subconsciously telling people that this poor little goblin is just catatonic. Which, but yeah, you manage to. So you roll a 6. So that is 2 segments on the clock.
Way.
Magpie.
I'm going to roll my prowl to have it away on my toes tops with this big ball.
Okay. Yeah, go for
Risky standard?
it. Yep.
Let's go. It's 4.
It's a 4.
Oh!
Okay. As you're running and jumping, like you leap from rooftop to rooftop, and like with your aerial view, you're able to kind of pick out the best places, the best routes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You hear some kind of shield bearers like scouting the area, kind of looking around, seeing what's happening. Like they've been drawn into the commotion, which means you have to take like a hard right when you were planning to take a hard left. The hard right takes you onto a sloped bit of roof, and you lose your footing slightly. You kind of bang your elbow, and you have to slide down. But as you hit the kind of the small kind of brick ledge at the bottom of this roof, which kind of knocks you back up into an upright position, you hear a worrying clonk as this orb hits the brick wall. There is a complication.
I don't want that.
No? Okay.
I don't want it.
You don't want it?
No.
You can
So I want to roll
me-
my prowess to resist. And if it goes
yes.
badly, I will get trauma.
So, if you...
Unless
roll-
we're happy for the thing that we were specifically tasked to get being broken. No.
I mean,
I
Musto,
don't think we
Musto
are
doesn't
happy.
need to know it's broken.
So you need to roll... If you're resisting, you will need to roll a 3 or more
Yeah?
to not gain trauma.
Yes. Okay, so this is my prowess, right?
Yes.
And that will that mean I get 3 dice for
Yes.
it? Because I've got 3 skills filled in.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon I can get a 3 on 3 dice. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. And it is just how it is. It's just this is straight roll. This is how it be. Okay.
Yeah.
I got a
Take
6.
zero
Look at that.
stress.
0 stress.
As you're
I
sliding
did not
down,
knock it.
as you're sliding down, you see this ledge, and knowing, like, with your arms out where they are, you kind of turn your back and form it into a roll and use your momentum to roll over the small brick bit and kind of land on a catwalk, and you open your eyes and you check and everything seems okay, and then you carry on running. Okay, you
Excellent,
ignore.
thank you.
You negate the complication.
Thank you. Great.
Algernon, what was the last stage of the expert escape plan?
Well, I'm hoping we're going to get it on the barge and sail away from the commotion.
Sure. Let's... Because I've got an idea that... Because the barge would have presumably have a like a not a pilot, not a driver, a boat's person, like someone in your crew. There is an as of yet unnamed NPC commanding the boat.
Yeah.
So it could always be a command to take off, make it quick.
Or we could do like a group prowl with all of us on board.
Yeah, with you leading it.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. I mean, in which case then, as you kind of look up at you can hear the sounds of the carnage happening up on this street outside Amringer's and Daughters, and you see Cavern and Atta come tearing around one corner, like Atta almost being dragged along by the dragon's head. You can see, and then there's from the shadows emerges like Magpie carrying this huge 2-foot round orb, and as she leaps onto the barge, and the other two join you. You gun it as best as you can in a barge. By all means, you can do a group prowl.
Cool. Group prowl. And is JC leading this prowl?
Algernon is leading.
Oh.
Okay, so if everyone makes me a prowl, and you may push it if you want to. Okay.
I expect
was
it
a
to fail.
4.
Oh.
Okay.
I guess
Oh no!
if I push I'll push myself, I guess, for, 2 stress.
Yeah.
Does that help if I push myself, I
Also
guess?
stress.
I mean-
it does
I mean,
a
you're
bit 'cause
taking-
you get an extra die, so
I can afford 3 stress if 3 of us fail.
okay.
But if you push yourself, you have more chance of rolling a 6 for the group.
Okay. I'll push myself and get an extra dice, why not? We're all vicing tonight.
We're all vicing.
Or I could have this as my second foresight assist and give you 1 for free.
Ooh,
Would you like that, or would
That's
you
a
like to
great
save
idea.
it? Just
Wow, we're almost at the end of the mission.
How does this look? Is it perhaps you prepared some like a special compartment to stow the orb away?
Yes, as Magpie rolls the orb onto the barge, we open up a flap in the back, and there's a perfect 2-foot spherical hole waiting for it to pop in.
And there's a really satisfying as it slides in. Are you pushing yourself as well, Atta?
Yeah, I'll do that. So I do +2 dice on the thingy, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
Oh, that's better. That's better.
Okay. Well, that is 2 stress for Algernon. But with a partial success for the group, you manage to the barge kind of roars into life and begins kind of trundling down the canal. You make your way south towards Waterside, and as you're going, you can hear like the sounds of the commotion of this unexpected ghost attack disappearing off into the distance. But, like as you go, there's kind of you hear groups of like City Watch beginning to head over into Dustry Hill, presumably as like backup and like to investigate and whatnot. But off the back of that, you successfully escape.
Hooray!
And as you emerge onto the main river of Elysia and kind of begin drifting towards the far side of the river to unload on the southeastern side of the bottom half of Waterside, like you check to see if like you're being followed, and there's no kind of like City Watch anywhere. There are a couple of dock workers kind of idly working, and you're able to move the perfectly sized crate with this orb onto the dock, and as you dismount and kind of give a wave off to the bargeman, the barge kind of begins heading back towards Duskland. But you do, like as you're kind of unloading Algernon, presumably I'm guessing you might not be doing the heavy lifting. You might be waiting for Catherine to like get this crate out. But as you're kind of looking and surveying the scene, you notice that on the bridge that crosses the river that connects the 2 halves of Waterside, you see a figure wearing rather large framed, like large glasses. The glasses darkens and obscures the majority of her face. But in this moment, you can't help but shake the feeling that she's deliberately trying to get your attention. And as you peer at her and wonder if it is in fact her, a crowd passes by her and she disappears into the crowds.
Oof.
Oh,
Do we think that was our purple
Algernon
lady? Sorry.
You know,
Algernon will be thinking about that later.
and Algernon, you know, for the purpose of everyone, that it is not the lady in purple, but your other mysterious stranger. So,
Exciting.
you transfer the orb to the location given to you by Musto. The cobbles, as you kind of head up to it's effectively just like a boathouse. But
Do we have the chance to do we have the chance to spend any time with the orb and studying it a bit closer?
If you want to take a bit of time after the stranger disappears into masses,
it's divination magic of some kind, and that's my province.
Sure. In which case, you crack it open. If anyone, for those of you that are looking, you see the same thing that Magpie saw, like a 2-foot-ish orb, with like ringed by 3 large kind of gold rings with these fine, like arcane runes inscribed into it. And Atta, as you peer at it, you know, like anyone who would know, you recognize this as it's like a detection device. Looking at the runes at her, like you can start to kind of effectively, it's almost like the instruction manual, if you will. But this large apparatus seems to detect the presence of arcane energy, and it's kind of to translate it to, there's more activity within the orb in the presence of powerful mana. It doesn't seem to be activated right now, because right now obviously it'd be thrumming like crazy. But there's a point where you think, why on earth would Musto want what is effectively an arcane divining rod?
Does Musto have interest in the arcane, particularly?
He must have a bit if he came to us. And if he has something like this.
Well, from what you know, collectively you know of Musto, it seems very out of character for him to be interested in something like this. Musto is a man of much more simple pleasures. But Magpie, your mind does cast back to like the previous night, when you were eavesdropping in on Musto. And you remember him mentioning the name Songbird. Oh, she wouldn't be. Songbird's not going to be happy with that. And you kind of got the impression that Songbird has some sort of hold or sway over Musto.
So it could well be that he's sort of dealing with something, holding on to items for this Songbird character, perhaps. He's working under orders, perhaps. So,
with that thought in mind, yes, you wonder if Musto is in fact kind of working as an intermediary. But just so you don't kind of draw too much attention, you know what it is now. If you wanted to do any research into it, you'll certainly be able to. But it's about time to hand it off. There's a fire sprite lady, who's currently sat on the in this boathouse, sat with her legs dangling over the off the ledge into the water. There would normally be a boat in here, but currently there is not. And she's currently just tearing up. She's got a bit of parchment and she's just tearing bits off, scrunching them up in her fingers, and then flicking them into the water, and doing it just a little bit at a time. And as you enter, she hello. Are you? She looks you up and down. Are you friends of ours?
We're friends of Musto.
Well, I expected you to be a bit later. What's going on out there? Sounds like a right commotion.
Just a small skirmish, nothing to be worried about.
She accepts your answer at face value, and she kind of lifts herself off from the ledge, walks over to the crate, rocks it a little bit. I can't hear anything rattling around because it's a perfect fit, but she realizes that the weight of it shows that there must be something inside, and she heads over to grab a satchel of coin, and just as she's about to give it to you, she stops and gives you an accusatory stare. And you're not trying to diddle us or anything, are you?
We're not the diddlers here, madam. I think you might suspect your own boss of such things.
Okay,
but we are
then.
trustworthy.
In which case, she hands you the satchel of coin, which contains 6 coin.
Yay!
Nice.
I'll let the boss know that you delivered promptly and on time. Now, unless there's anything else you want, I recommend you, I don't know, sod off.
Dan,
Yes.
would there have been time to ponder this orb in transit?
Yeah?
Okay, cool. Just checking that I had orb pondering time.
Yes. No, absolutely. There would have been. I'm assuming, if you're carrying the crate, yeah, there would have been time for sure. In which case, yeah, as this fire sprite just kind of stands there looking at this box, trying to you all leave, and you see her just as the door closes, looking at this box, realizing that she probably should have asked you to help her move it before she dismissed you. And you, as the door shuts, you see her desperately trying to push it into out of the middle of the floor of this boathouse. But yeah, the door closes, and as you can still just about hear, you can see that the veil over Dustry Hill just seems to be kind of sparkling and is a bit more vibrant in colour than elsewhere on the veil. And as well, is this a happy time for you all on completing a job, or a pensive time because you've caused a ghost incursion? Yeah,
Don't worry about that later.
Sure.
I love how the people who caused the ghost incursion don't care at all. It's the rest of it a bit concerned.
Okay, in which case, as the four of you give each other affirmative nods, and you begin making your way back to Cadwallader Manor or the Spectre.
Probably Cadwallader, I'd think. It's time for our downtime.
Yeah. Okay. So, in which case, yeah, as the four of you begin making your way back to the Ivory, let's call it there.
Hey.
We flash back to Algernon buying 6 identical prams.
Just procuring them from around the Ivory, I suspect. Sneaking into the nurseries of the various mansions in the area. Okay, so yeah, as the four of you head back, we'll call it there. Elsewhere in Elysia, looking out of an antique window in a well-furnished and well-lit room, Grand Marshal Guion Algarve gently swirls a wine glass filled with a rich red wine as he peers westwards towards the frenetic light that ripples across the veil. And as he takes a sip, there's a deep sigh that emanates from him, and he turns to the woman that stood behind him as she takes off the large wide-brimmed glasses that she was wearing. "You're certain it was them?" he asks. And the woman nods. "Then it would seem that the secret about the veil is out. Push forward the plans. Whatever it takes, I will see this city saved." Congratulations, everyone, on completing episode 3.
Oh, boy! Look how stressed we all are!
Look how stressed you all are!
Boy, we need to
This is
indulge
the
our
game! We're playing the game.
This
Yes.
level of stress is too familiar to
Yeah.
Sorry.
What do you mean? You're all fine. Just a little, have a little couple of drinkies, have a couple of little kissies, you'll be
Poor
right.
Catherine. Poor Catherine's so close to the trauma.
He's fine.
One of his eyes is involuntarily twitching, but he's fine. Okay, well, yes, congratulations on completing a run. We will see what kind of entanglements you're caught up with as a direct result. We'll have a look at your heat and so on and so forth. But I will say, at the end of that session, let's do a quick whip round of the XP that you you would suggest that you have earned. So, hopefully everyone has tacked a point of XP for each of the desperate rolls that you made during that mission. Starting with Atta, how do you feel? How much XP do you think you've earned?
Oh, good grief! What
So-
asking me first?
So first off,
I think
off your playbook.
I did one desperate roll.
Mhm.
So one desp. From my playbook, let's just go ahead and double check, because brain do be like that.
mean, you
I
definitely
addressed
did
a
magic
problem
abilities.
with arcane power. I think
Yes.
maybe just a tiny bit.
Just a little bit. Yes.
Yeah. I may have over.
Would you say you did?
addressed.
You did it to excess? Yeah. Okay, I'm happy with that. So that's 2 for your playbook, because you literally pulled a ghost through the veil.
I sure did.
So you've got your anything based on your vice?
Well, I guess I didn't succumb to my vice and kind of make a bad choice. I mean, debatable, but I didn't necessarily make a bad choice based off of my vice. So yeah,
Sure.
I think that's a no.
I would say that you express your beliefs, drives, or heritage or background in kind of falling back on bubble to kind of
Nice.
save you. So
Always fall back on the bubble.
let's say 1 from that as well. So
Thank you.
total of 4 XP, including your desperate roll.
Awesome.
Well, 3 XP plus your desperate rolls, I should say.
Yeah.
Cool. Cavern, how do you think you did?
I think I did. So I did one desperate roll. I did a desperate. And I think I did a couple in deception. So obviously trying to deceive the shield, and also doing the deceiving of running away and trying to get everyone to influence people to look in the opposite direction and totally not at us.
Yeah. That tracks.
Maybe even a little bit of background, because I try to convey with people of the church.
Yes. Yeah. That was your angle.
So
Okay. Yeah. I'm
so-
happy with that.
3 plus the desperate roll, so 4.
Sure. Yeah. There wasn't any tangles with the vital traumas.
No.
Okay. Fab. Yeah. 3 plus desperates. Algernon.
I didn't do any desperates. Everything I did was risky.
Okay.
So none there. Calculation and conspiracy, I'd say maybe twice.
Everything you did basically was
Uh-huh.
part of the master plan.
And my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I leaned quite heavily on being an old Morton boy as a background, and also the thing that drives Algernon is like trying to save Elysia from the bubble and getting people to realise that it's failing.
Yes.
I think is a mission for him going forward.
Yes. Okay. So I'd say 2 for the playbook. I'd probably even say 2 for beliefs and drives.
Sure.
I reckon. And then no vital traumas. Okay, fine. So 4 there. And Magpie.
I don't think I got so many this mission. I did one desperate, which I've put my invite. I think it was a study. And then, I did a bit of prowling around. I got up on the roofs, which is my favourite thing. Maybe 1 for that.
I to be fair, I would say that again, you're also like everything you did was in the interest of not being discovered.
Sure.
So I would say playbook 2.
Okay. So what does that translate to in terms of where I put my XP and stuff?
So you can put those wherever you like.
Oh, can I get 2?
Yeah, 2 for your
Ooh.
playbook. Did you
Okay.
express your drives, beliefs, heritage, or background?
I'm not sure I did really.
And then no vice or traumas, I don't
No, that's
believe.
a
So,
trauma.
so 3 for Magpie.
Cool.
Plus
Is
your,
that including
plus
the
your
desperate roll?
desperation.
Sorry.
Plus your desperate.
Okay.
Cool. And then we'll sort out Frida off cam. Fab. So that is that. That's the first, your first solo mission, and it went off without a hitch. Yeah, we'll see what kind of entanglements we get off the back of that. We'll see just how much heat you generated off the back of that. Yeah, if you enjoyed this, make sure to hit the like button and comment down below on a scale of 1 to 10 how well you thought that went overall.
I mean, we completed the mission, didn't we?
Yes. And if you want to see the other hijinks from this crew, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications of when we release new things, because there's going to be loads and loads of stuff coming out. We just don't want you to miss out on it. So, thank you for watching. Thank you all for playing. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Ah!